House in Baltimore, not playing football, but we're all watching football, and certainly this whole notion of a Pittsburgh Steelers, New England Patriots finale here in the AFC does not whet the appetites of folks like myself and Dennis Colossus of Coons Florida Security Boulevard and the SSV on WNST. We welcome Dennis in for our visit for the week here, and when it comes down to nightmarish scenarios here, Dennis, the notion that when a season begins and it's going to end with the Steelers and the Patriots playing for the rights to go to the Super Bowl, that'll curdle your little purple drink in August, now won't it?
All I have to say is go NFC. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who from the NFC, be it the Packers or the Falcons. But to me, it's real simple. I'm an NFC fan from here on out. From this point forward, I'm an NFC fan. Anybody but the Steelers or the Patriots.
Hold on. Are you abstaining from the this was kind of my deal over the weekend. I'll be really honest with you. Despite my disdain for the Steelers, I do like Mike Tomlin. So if it's got to be Pittsburgh or New England, I'm going to go with Pittsburgh. So this week, it won't be quite a gold terrible towel, but it might be a light shade of some coward yellow look because I don't want to see the Patriots there. But I'll say this. Most of these games this weekend, I just wanted a good game, right? I wanted Houston to hang in with the Patriots. I didn't think they could win. I just wanted good football. We certainly got that, I think, in the early part of Sunday and even the late part of Sunday where the Chiefs, they never felt like they were going to win, but they had a chance to win,
Yeah, it was a decent weekend of football. I was half right. I picked all the home teams, took the easy way out, but a couple of the visiting teams came away victorious. But as you mentioned, in the matchup between the Patriots and the Steelers, I want to be less upset if the Steelers win that one versus the Patriots. I definitely don't want to see the Patriots advance. And they were exposed by the Houston Texans, a very unbalanced Houston Texans team, all defense, no offense. And they hit Tom Brady. They made him cry, and he put the ball up, 2 interceptions in that game versus 2 for the entire season. And that locker room afterwards, by all accounts, was a little bit somber. Bill Belichick got a piece of everybody and said, look, if we play this way next week, we're going to lose. And he's right. They've got to show up better against a very motivated, very good Steelers team who all of a sudden they figure out how to play defense.
Yeah, maybe it was the death of David Modell over the weekend, but I was sort of in between being somber and sharing some memories, and I've shared a blog at WNST.net. If you've been listening to any stuff with David and I talking here on the airways, please go read some of my memories. I'm going to read it on the air when I can get the right amount of water and the right amount of tissue on it. But I just found the games this weekend like I don't really care who wins, right? New England can win again. They've won enough. I sort of ignore it when they do win. I haven't watched any of their, it wasn't like watching the Kansas City parade or the Cubs parade or even the LeBron parade. When New England wins, I sort of ignore it. I don't want Pittsburgh to win. Let's make this clear. I will be a Packer or a Falcon fan on Super Bowl Sunday when I'm down in Houston. There's no doubt about that. And from that perspective, at least we got the Cowboys out. But I'll be honest, I didn't find myself sort of taking a side other than, I want to see good football. I want to see good games. I want to see the best teams win. But I do like the fact that the Atlanta Falcons are, you put those names up there, right? McCarthy and Rodgers, they know what they're doing, right? Roethlisberger and Tomlin, yeah, they got rings. Brady and Belichick goes without saying. But then there's this Quinn Ryan thing that I think if you want to embrace something or someone here over the weekend, Dan Quinn's a hell of a guy, went to Salisbury State, and, I'm going to root for the Falcons here the rest. I think I'm going to adopt them because I just want to see them win one, that's all.
Yeah, they're definitely the Cinderella team this year, if you will. You've got the NFL Blue Bloods and the Packers, the Steelers, and the Patriots, so they are the new kid to the dance, so to speak. And, look, they have a chance. They're going to be at home against the Packers. Matt Ryan's living up to his billing finally. They've got a defense. As you mentioned, Dan Quinn has done a very nice job, former defensive coordinator of the Seahawks, in putting a very good under-the-radar defense together. But that Cowboys-Packers game was something else. That last 98 seconds was about as exciting football as you're going to see ever.
How about that pass?
Was just the guys. By all accounts, he drew that play in the dirt, so to speak, and he improvised. And what a throw, what a catch for Cook to get his feet down. that 98 seconds was unreal.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to have any drama that's going to top that, but I think we got a couple of pretty good football games this week, and certainly some surging teams. And, for whatever the Cowboys were, they are no more, right? And you see them get sort of, kicked to the curb here, and they'll have to get back after it next year. And we'll see, where Tony Romo lands, what team he's going to wind up on. But, the drama starts to build here now, I think, as we have the four best teams. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think we're going to get two pretty good football games this week.
Yeah, there's no question about it. Both very good matchups. Both have tons of great storylines. And for me, as a pure NFL fan, loving the game as much as I do, Tom Brady going for his fifth ring, Roethlisberger for his third, Rodgers for his second, and Matt Ryan for his first. It just doesn't get any better than that. The only thing better would be if the Ravens were in the Final Four in this tournament.
Well, the Ravens are not in the Final Four of this tournament. And, of course, we had Steve Bisciotti last week. We felt the fallout of that. I spent some time with Coach Harbaugh last week, saw him at the Maryland game as well. Boy, the death of David Modell. I mean, Dennis, I'm 48. How old are you? I don't even know how old you are.
52.
You're 52. And David Modell, 55. We lose him over the weekend. And I know you were at our event back in May, and I've shared the video. I'm going to share a lot of my observation. I'm going to talk to a lot of people. Some people worked in the building with David. I'm sure I'm going to see many people throughout the funeral process this week that had moments with him one way or another. Boy, I don't know that there's anybody that came into my life under such hard circumstances where they were kicking the dog, they were perceived as being bad people and having made bad decisions and done bad things in Cleveland. And from the moment they got here, I can say through 21 and a half years of knowing David Modell, there are very few people that I liked more than David Modell.
He was a likable guy. I did some intel before the Browns moved to Baltimore. I asked some friends of mine from Cleveland, look, what's Art Modell all about? Is he like Bob Irsay? Does he make his money off the team? Does he really care about winning? Before I invested my money in purchasing season tickets, and I was told he's got a heart of gold. He means well. He's just not a great businessman, as evidenced by the Andre Rison signing. He borrowed $5 million from the bank just to sign the guy, and the guy was a bum. But they said, look, he's got great intentions. He'll have a well-funded team in Baltimore. Buy your season tickets. The Modells really do care. And I remember David Modell, he was the owner's son, just like Jimmy Irsay was Bob Irsay, but I was assured that David was much different. I remember David during the press conferences. I remember David on the field in his suit, waving his towel, trying to get the fans all jacked up. And that's one of my fondest memories of David Modell.
That's amazing. You remember him waving a towel with a cigar in his mouth on the sidelines. And that was not a caricature, bro.
Right.
That was
him. Well, you couldn't fake it. You could tell he was real. He was out there in freezing weather. It was
God, he wanted to win so bad. At
Memorial Stadium, you can't fake that. So he was into it. He was in it to win it. He was a fan. He loved the team. He loved the Browns, and he loved the Ravens.
The one thing I would say, I mean, you of course run a business, and I've run a business here for 2 decades. It's hard to put yourself back in that spot, Dennis, where the Orioles were king, the Ravens were pond scum, they were broke, they were kicking the dogs, they were the ones that asked for money, they were the greedy ones, they were the ones that, the state built the stadium for them, and they had a lot to prove when they came in here, man. You know what I mean? And I think 21 years later, we've lost Art. I mean, we've incredibly, tragically lost David far too early. They lost the football team, which was not their intention. Their intention was not to carpetbag off to Baltimore and sell the team. David envisioned him giving the team to his kids, right? I mean, and then 3 years in, the weight of the debt and the business fell onto them, and he did not want to sell I mean, it was one of the toughest things they ever had to do, and they could find no other way out of that kind of $200 and $300 million worth of debt without finding Steve Bisciotti. But when you consider what's been left here, right? The name, the logo, the stadium, don't be a jerk in the stadiums, the way fans are treated, the way Ozzie Newsome and Brian Billick was courted, and the way this organization has stayed together. And as much as we criticized part of that last week about loyalty and sticking through it with people who are competent people, I really got to tip my cap to David Modell for what he left us here as Ravens fans.
Yeah, they're definitely NFL blue bloods. Started the league. His father Art Modell did, and again, they're all part of the great NFL legacy, and then the transfer to Baltimore. And myself was a fan, and you as a fan, and knowing what we had to go through just to get a team, I was very appreciative we were able to get a team. That was the only way we could get a team was to steal one because Paul Tagliabue, the powers that be, and Jack Kent Cook, in all their wisdom, didn't want a team in Baltimore, so we had to get a team. I didn't care how we got them, and I was glad we got them instead of the Bidwells. I remember that vividly. That did not want Bill Bidwell and company to come here in Baltimore and continue their streak of losing.
I wrote at length. I don't know if you ever read my piece about Peter Angelos trying to get in on the Buccaneers and the Redskins. Bill Bidwell, I remember that vividly, and them selling those Baltimore Cardinals shirts. Al Davis, Georgia Frontieri, they were all involved. The Glazers were involved. Boogie Wineglass was involved. Yep. There were a lot of different people that could have owned it. And Dennis, as I've pointed out, and I know you have many times as well, you go look at the St. Louis Cardinals and what they became in Arizona and how they scuffled for 20 years. Go look at the St. Louis Rams that were the L.A. Rams that are now the L.A. Rams again. See what's happened to the Chargers and the Raiders and the Houston Oilers and the Tennessee Titans. See what the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Cleveland Browns have become over this century, and the Buffalo Bills and some other teams that have really fallen by hard times. And then think about what the Ravens have represented here since David and Art brought them here. It really is kind of amazing. It really is.
Yeah, it's very amazing. In terms of all the franchises that could have moved here to Baltimore, there's no doubt in my mind that we got the very best one. And as you mentioned, Dave Modell was very, very a big part of it. His enthusiasm was contagious. Him hoisting a Super Bowl trophy, downtown. I'll never forget that image of him just raising his hands up to the sky and closing his eyes and really being appreciative of what he had earned, what the organization had done with him as president.
Dennis Kolatzis joining us here. He'll be here on Thursday as well, doing the SSV on WNST and driving you home. Dennis, what's going on over Coons Ford Security Boulevard? I know the temperature's falling, but are the prices?
Prices are always the lowest in the country here, so we got the lowest prices in the country. That's why people fly in from everywhere. Everybody listen, you don't have to fly in. You can just drive here. It's a short drive no matter where you are within a listening audience, and we'll save you thousands of dollars, 30 acres, over 1,000 new vehicles, 200 pre-owned vehicles, huge service body shop parts departments, and we go the extra mile for every single one of our customers. All of our cars have heat this time of the year, and spring's right around the corner. They'll have air conditioning too, so all the creature comforts are available. All the big savings are here at Coons Baltimore Ford.
Coons Ford Security Boulevard sponsors our WNST Tech Service, where we sadly, and Dennis, this is an amazing thing, but I learned of David's death on our tech service. I mean,
yep, that's where I got it.
As macabre and as surreal as where we are in 2017 here. My wife came back. I was working in the back room. She was working in the front room. She got it. She came back in tears, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, what's happening here? And, our tech service brings good news, bad news, trades, anything that happens. You're always going to be in the loop if you're on the WNST Tech Service. Dennis, we're going to see you on Thursday, man. Have yourself a great week out there. Stay warm. You got it. I got a warm butt now because of the heated seats at Coons Ford.
Keep your butt warm. That's important.
It is. Hey, man. Heated seats, January. I hear you loud and clear. You can find me out anytime, anywhere out at WNST.net. You can always email me, nasty@WNST.net. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram, and streaming live on our Facebook and watching the Caps and the Terps and talking about the life and times of David Modell here this week and paying tribute to a guy who who affected my life greatly and a guy that I loved very, very much. So lots of stuff out in the audio vault as well. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, and WNST Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.